Intuition means to have an inner knowing. It's like to literally know exactly what to do in every situation. For someone like me who felt wrong his entire life, I'm like, that's the perfect solution. It's like, if I can always know what to do in the situation, then I will never be wrong, in theory. The problem with that is that, of course, I have to allow myself to be imperfect. The whole idea of the journey of recovering scapegoat or um, empath or black sheep is to allow myself to make mistakes and not have to beat myself up for them. That's been my path. But then, even more painful than that is, if because I've learned to listen to my intuition, a direct knowledge, and these days I've had the most incredible journey in the last few years, and it's been completely crazy. The only, for me, intuition is walking along an invisible path, and your feet stay solid on that path, even though you can't see what comes next. And I've ended up in a beautiful place, and it's a miracle, and it's wonderful. But when I ignore, sometimes, often, I ignore that intuition. When my ego gets in the way, and there's that ego word. But when I think, oh no, I can get away with this, because, ego, whatever. But when I think to myself, I can get away with this, then I end up in the most painful situations ever. Recently, and if I can be aware of the shame and fear and the anger and all the rest of those low vibration emotions as they happen, and just process them and go, okay. Or even sadness. So many of us feel sad, and we've had lots of people in our lives tell us, you shouldn't feel sad. That's crazy. If sad things have happened, then it's appropriate to feel sad. I use the example of someone punches me in the face and someone says, your face shouldn't hurt. Of course it's going to hurt. It's the same with emotions. Our natural reaction is to feel an emotion to any whatever stimulus it is. What we do with that emotion afterwards, then we have a choice over if we can stay conscious and present. If just because I get angry doesn't mean I have to shout at someone or insult someone, and or more commonly for me, it was always to channel that inside, that kind of anger at myself for not being perfect. That was that's super destructive. It's corrosive, and that is what I'm recovering from. So part of what I've been doing, especially in these last few years, is allowing myself to be however I am. So if I'm angry, I allow myself to be angry. If I'm sad, I allow myself to be sad. That's difficult enough. And then, also to have compassion for myself and those places where I still hurt from things that happened however long ago. If I can I have a mantra. It's called "Be nice to Mark." The reason it's so simple and is because it's easily understood by a 6-year-old. That means I can't complicate it. All I have to do is ask myself, is this genuinely nice thing to do for myself in this situation? Is it loving? Is it nourishing? Is it whatever it is? And sometimes I do. Sometimes I manage to do the loving, nice thing for myself, and sometimes I don't. If I could turn back the clock and go and change it, would I? Um, yes. The problem is I learned the lesson after having been through the situation. So it's painful, and it was uncomfortable, and now I've learned my lesson. It's so the question is, will I be able to avoid that next time? And if not, then why have I failed to learn this lesson this time? There's a saying which says, pain is the messenger and it will be taught until the lesson is learned. I'm like, that's, for me, how I come into line with my true self. Can I really dig deep and listen to the Greg Braden on Gaia TV says, there are brain cells in the heart that literally can give us a yes or no answer as to whether or not something is right to do in that moment. I'm like, That's super cool. So can I, and it's, this is the first video I've made in a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And it's kind of, I got this intuitive feeling. I've had it for a few days, and today it was the day. And I sat down and I'm like, okay, it's time to make a video. Time to make videos again. I've now got 2 channels, The Emotional Alchemist and The Divorce Solution. And I'm feeling much better. It's just, I think things just take time. I didn't know in the last 5 years, I had 5 abscesses. That's why I have 2 teeth missing. Because I've had 7 teeth taken out and implants put in. 5 teeth were abscessed. That means there was bacteria and pathogens and toxins flooding my body the whole time. And I've spent 6 months, actually longer, 9 months, just doing intense detoxification of heavy metals and all sorts of stuff. All of this stuff, all of that stuff, the toxins and the bacteria get in the way of my intuition. If my body, it's like mind, body, spirit. If my body is clean and working properly, because if it's not, I'm in hell every day, and so much of the last 4 years was hell every day, plus all sorts of crazy situations in my life. If I can clean up, eat, reasonably nourishing, not high carb diet, then calm my mind to a point. For me, calming my mind is just literally listening to those thoughts which are going, "You're shit. Why did you do that? You're a whatever it is." Those thoughts, those thoughts that I think are me, but are actually all of the voices of critics from throughout my life. If I can just listen to that, and even if that voice is there, say to myself, I'm going to be nice to myself anyway. God, that's some sort of miracle. If you have experienced the scapegoat role or black sheep or whatever it is, and so many of you have told me the pain that you carry from all sorts of stuff, but that it's that sense of self which is wrong. That I am wrong because I am Mark. It's someone described it as the difference between shame and God, I've forgotten the other one. Shame is basically thinking that that I am wrong. It's not something I did was wrong. It's that I am wrong, and that corrodes my connection to my soul. And if intuition is an inner knowing, the more chocolate bars with high sugar I eat, and the less I sleep, and all of this stuff cuts off that connection to knowing what it is I should do. And I've worked really hard in order to get back to a point where I feel comfortable enough to come back on camera. I don't feel like I want to die anymore. My life situation was just heinous, and I've got back to a place where I like myself. I can look in the mirror. It was just a miracle, especially to be able to make videos. 2 of my fucking teeth are missing, and I'm making a video. My hair, I shaved it completely, and I had this. Every day I would look in the mirror with this self-hatred because it looks so hard. Talking about my image, I look super hard, and that's not how I felt inside. And I called it God's joke. I'd literally say, "Why the fuck did you make me look like this? Why did you take my hair? Why did you make me lose so much weight?" Unfortunately, a little bit heavier now. All of this stuff, I don't know. I just have to let go of that hatred I have for the way that I looked, the way I still look. I actually quite like the way I look now, which is, again, a miracle. I don't know. It's just, for me, especially the answer in the world right now, with everything just as crazy as it is, it's more compassion for myself, more compassion for others. As a general rule, I have loads of compassion for others. I have not had so much compassion for myself And that is what I've been working on. And it's worked amazingly. I'm no way perfect. And I'm still walking along this journey, trying to find my path, trying to listen to this, trying to ignore the ego as much as possible. Or just hear the ego and then do kind of work out what to do anyway. That, I don't know. That's, for me, that's the spiritual awakening. That's the path to my true self. That is, the scapegoat role is, there is one kind of end result of the scapegoat role if we don't die from it, and that is self-empowerment. For me, it's about self-empowerment. As we look back in history of all those scapegoats, there were, so many people would say, he's wrong, you're wrong. I mean, absolutely littered with throughout history. I mean, I do love the story of Jesus. Absolutely, he said all this stuff, and then they basically, killed him and rewrote his story and ignored his message. I'm like, the greatest scapegoat in history. Anyway, for me, this path is about self-empowerment. The more I can find my voice, the more I can be helpful in the world, the more I can feel comfortable in the world, the more I can listen to my intuition, walk that invisible path, and finish this video. My name's Mark. This is The Emotional Alchemist. I basically make videos about finding my own self-empowerment, finding my own voice, deciding actually what it is I truly believe, even if other people think different things of me. Thanks for watching.